We voted. You're too negative for New Year's, my brother said just hours before the party. I responded, no problem. Then I froze the $7,400 event budget and called the venue. Security cleared the building at 11:57 p.m. We voted. You're too negative for New Year's. Don't come tonight. That's what my brother said at 2:14 p.m. over a voice note in our family group chat. You could even hear Emma laughing in the background. It was casual, almost polite, as if I'd been uninvited from a dinner, not the event I had personally organized, funded, and built for 3 months straight. I didn't answer right away. I just stared at my screen, thumb hovering above the reply button while my other hand gripped the receipt from the caterer. $7,412.80. Paid in full. From my account. The chat exploded a minute later. My cousin Toby dropped a LOL savage but fair. Then Emma chimed in. Come on. We all agreed. It's a party, not a therapy circle. They had no idea I was still logged into the shared planning spreadsheet. No idea I could see them renaming tabs from Decor Budget to Fun Vibes Only. No idea I had the power to pull the plug on the venue they'd spent all day decorating. And they really had no idea that I'd already made the call. I waited until 5:42 p.m. to text back, long after they'd picked up the suits, the champagne tower, the custom LED countdown that said 2025 is our year. My response? No problem. Then I froze the entire event fund, called the venue manager, told them to clear the building by 11:50, paid extra for private security, told them exactly what to say. By the time Emma showed up in heels and sequins, the music was off, lights dimmed, tables half cleared, and a polite man in a black suit was waiting by the front entrance, earpiece glowing. I'm sorry, he said, glancing at the clipboard. This event has been canceled. Please exit the building by 11:57 p.m. I wasn't there. I didn't need to be. But I got the video. Someone sent it to me at 12:03 a.m., shaky hands, champagne hitting the floor, my brother yelling, wait, what is happening, as the screen behind him blinked off. No countdown. No kiss. No music. Just confusion and one clear exit sign glowing above the door. It was the first New Year's I'd spent alone in 5 years. And it was the most peaceful one of my life. My name is Michael. I'm 29, and I've gotten used to being the quiet hero. The one who always steps in. The one who always pays. The one who never says enough. Last year alone, I put over $18,000 into this family. Some would call that stupid. I called it faith. Faith that one day they'd see, understand, maybe even say thank you. They didn't. My brother Jacob, 32, a waiter who still lives at home with our mom and makes jokes about his future startups, said I didn't deserve a say in the New Year's plans because I was too toxic. My mom, June, messaged me separately. Sweetheart, don't take it personally. Just don't ruin the vibe. The vibe. The vibe I funded down to the last napkin. How did it start? 3 months ago, they called a family meeting. Jacob pitched it. Let's go big this year. A real party. Something unforgettable. Mom jumped in, but cozy, not flashy. We want something warm. Family-centered. I quietly said, I can help with the budget. They didn't just accept. They celebrated. Jacob even clapped me on the back. Oh, seriously? You're our investor. Love that, bro. Investor. That word will come back. Chaos started with the first transfer. I sent $3,000 for the venue deposit. Then $1,800 for catering. Then came the banner, projector, decorations, photographer. I didn't keep count. I believed we could finally have a holiday without the usual chaos. But the chaos started the moment the money landed. The family chat turned strange. Can I invite a few girlfriends? Emma, my cousin. So are we getting a DJ? Or is Michael just gonna play his depression playlist again? Jacob joked. I want a Vegas glam photo zone. Is that okay? Eliza chimed in, the same Eliza who still owes me $600. When I said, hey, maybe let's slow down? We're already over budget. The reply came fast. You said you'd cover everything. Then Jacob said the line that changed everything. You're paying because you're toxic. This is your penance. But we make the decisions. I took a screenshot. Saved it. That was the first file I dropped into the folder labeled proof_of_insanity.zip. Mom stayed silent. She always does. I messaged her directly. Do you think this is okay? An hour later she replied. I don't want to get involved. It's better for everyone if you just step back. Step back? Then came the Facebook post. Jacob's sister, the one who thinks she's a fashion blogger, posted a story. Finally, a celebration without the negative energy, no sad vibes this year. In the background, the decorations I paid for. Other relatives either laughed or said nothing. When I gently messaged the chat, maybe I'll just sit this one out, one of the third cousins replied, "Who invited you?" LOL. That's when I started collecting screenshots, invoices, wire receipts, even an email from the venue confirming. All payments were made by Michael. The rest of the family is listed as guests. Then it got dirty. They started removing me from prep meetings, deleted me from the shared spreadsheets, changed the group call times without me. When I asked about the menu, the answer was, "We've already decided. It's better if you don't come. This is supposed to be light and fun. You don't get it." But the worst was still to come. An email hit my inbox with the subject, "Michael, please step back. A collective family request." It was signed by 9 people, including my mother. It read, "We believe your energy no longer aligns with the spirit of our event. This is not personal. It's about overall comfort. Please do not attend. We appreciate your financial support, which has been fully used, but kindly ask that you remain home. Sincerely, the family." You can forgive an insult. You can live through pain. But when you're erased from your own celebration, the one you paid for, that's not family. That's a cult with a shared bank account. And that's when I decided. No yelling. No arguing. Just one click. Freeze funds. "Oh, I'm coming," I said. Just not as your scapegoat. The building hit capacity at 9:40 p.m. By 10:15, the champagne tower was glowing, the rented LED countdown flickering gold and silver, the DJ blasting a mix of 2010s nostalgia like it was still Hope season. My name wasn't mentioned once. They danced under the archway I paid for, took selfies by the balloon wall I designed, laughed around tables covered in centerpieces I'd ordered, each costing more than Jacob's weekly paycheck. But I wasn't watching in silence. I was watching everything. You see, the venue had live stream capability, a setup I paid extra for when we thought Grandpa might not make it in person. They forgot about it. I didn't. At 11:35 p.m., while they posed for photos and tossed confetti, I pressed publish. A 7-minute video uploaded to the private family group. Title: Who paid for your party? The first frame was simple. Me, holding receipts. Not shouting. Not even angry. Just calm. Weird how I became the villain for paying for a party none of you could afford. Then came the footage, date-stamped screenshots, bank transfers, receipts from vendors, the original planning spreadsheet with my name next to every line item. Then the texts. Jacob's, he's not invited. He's a buzzkill. Eliza's, as long as he pays, who cares? And finally, the email. Michael, please step back. A collective family request. I zoomed in on the signatures. I said nothing. I just let it sit on screen. Then came the audio. At 11:41, the venue's sound system hiccuped. They thought it was a glitch. Until they heard my voice. You didn't invite me to the party I funded. So I canceled it. Dead silence spread like a virus across the hall. Then, you think I'm negative? I think I'm just the only one not lying to themselves. So let's be honest, right now. At 11:43 p.m., security received the cue. I'd spoken to the venue manager earlier that day, told him the situation, offered a $300 bonus per guard to follow my exact instructions. At 11:45, the music stopped. The lights dimmed. And the head of security, a tall man in a black suit with a clipboard and a Bluetooth earpiece, stepped onto the dance floor like a stage. Attention guests. This event has been canceled by the primary contract holder. Please prepare to exit the building by 11:57 p.m. Happy New Year, and good luck. Emma screamed first. She knocked over a tray of wine glasses. Jacob tried yelling at the guard. He can't do this. He's not even here. And then the projector lit up the back wall. Not the countdown. The email. Their email. With every name, every insult, every line about energy and comfort cast in 10-foot-high clarity across the venue. Then came the second part of the video. The one I hadn't mentioned to anyone. Screenshots. Chats. Secrets. Emma's private messages to her friend. If we keep him away, he'll just pay more to prove himself. A Venmo request labeled emotional support from Eliza. And Jacob, God bless him, had emailed the venue 2 weeks earlier asking them to put the bill under my name but remove me from the guest list. It was all there. At 11:49 p.m., someone finally thought to call me. Jacob, of course. I didn't answer. I just texted. You said I'm too negative. But now, for the first time, you're not lying to yourselves. That's not negativity. That's a reset. At 11:57 p.m., the last guests were ushered out. Emma was crying in the parking lot. Jacob was screaming into his phone. My mother? She just sat on a bench, holding her party clutch like it might explain something. And me? I watched it all from home, on a couch I paid for, in an apartment they've never seen. I poured myself a glass of champagne. Cheap stuff, but mine. Lifted it toward the screen, and whispered, Happy New Year. 3 days after that night, my phone was silent. It was suspicious. Usually Emma would have posted something. Jacob would have staged a public scene or two by now. But it was quiet. Too quiet. I knew the tactic. Silence, a new form of pressure. A strategy of emotional blockade. They were hoping I'd get tired of my own decision and crawl back. But I had no doubts. I wasn't playing by their rules anymore. On the 5th day, my mom called. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. Michael, we think it's time to talk. No drama. Just talk. We all went a little too far, you too. Please come Saturday. To where your father keeps his things. The storage unit. We want to sort everything out. A storage unit? That was new. I thought, maybe it's more than just a talk. I took my portable hard drive and one flash drive I'd saved for worst-case scenarios. Parked the car a block away and walked. The storage unit was old, yellow concrete. The Easy Store sign nearly faded. Section B13. When I got there, the door was already ajar. Inside were 3 of them. Jacob, Emma, Mom. No niceties. No coffee. No warmth. The silence was so thick you could hear someone in the next unit trying to drag a mattress across the concrete. Mom nodded at me. Thanks for coming. We just want to finish this. Finish what? I sat on a worn plastic chair near a shelf full of boxes. What exactly? Then they began. Jacob started talking. Slowly, like someone who just memorized a script. We know we crossed a line. But your actions were harsh too. People are calling. Relatives are asking. We're ashamed. Ashamed? I repeated. That I finally stopped staying silent? Emma jumped in. We didn't know it was that serious. We just wanted. I mean, you used to say you didn't care about. You kicked me out of a party I paid for. Silence. Again. And then the twist. Mom said, We want to give you something. It's only fair. She stood, walked to one of the boxes in the back of the unit, and pulled out, I'm not joking, an old safe with a combination lock. It's your father's things. He asked that we give it to you if the time ever came when you understood that family matters more than hurt feelings. And how does this relate to now? You're at a crossroads, Michael, she said. We all are. If you take the safe, it means you accept us. If you walk away, that's it. No more. I stood up. Slowly. Walked to the safe. What's in it? His business files. Joint property. Some of it is yours. He put part of it in your name. If you reject it, we lose everything. There it was. Not an apology. Not remorse. Blackmail. The air thickened. Dust and the scent of old paper everywhere. I reached into my pocket. Pulled out the flash drive. Plugged it into my laptop. Turned the screen toward them. See this? Copies of payments. Bank records. But there's something fresh too. I opened a new folder. Rental fraud, December 2024. Their faces drained of color. You forgot I put down the deposit on your new apartment? Remember, Mom? All the payments went through me. What did you do? She whispered. I checked the lease. The landlord didn't know it was going to be you living there. And the signature was mine. That's fraud. But there's an option. I stood up. You can keep the safe. I'm taking my part. In 2 days, the landlord will receive an official notice terminating the lease. You'll be evicted. No compensation. Michael, please. Emma cried. You can't do this. I already did. I walked out of the storage unit. They didn't follow. Didn't shout. They just sat there like verdicts that had just learned their sentence. The next morning I drove to that same building. But not to section B13. I had my own, B03. I picked up the box labeled Rental Records plus Legal Backups and brought it to my new office. I was renting a small space in a business center, recently acquired by the company where I'd finally become not just an IT guy, but a shareholder after buying in. At 2 p.m. that same day, the real estate agent called me. They got the letter. The landlord's pissed. He's prepping the termination. Good. Will they have time to move their stuff? If they're out by Saturday, yes. Then Saturday it is. At 5:23 p.m., I got a message. From Jacob. 3 words. You really did it. I didn't reply. A month after the eviction, I was back in silence. Real silence, not the kind you chase with noise-canceling headphones, but the kind that lives in the walls. The kind you can hear through your skin. No buzzing fridge. No vibrating phone. No voice asking for anything. I didn't go back. Didn't text. Didn't wonder. I existed. Cleanly. Quietly. Then, a simple email from a logistics company. You have a delivery scheduled for Friday between 9 to 11 o'clock. Sender, Family Harris. Size, 1 crate. Weight, 62 pounds. 62 pounds? I hadn't ordered anything. I hadn't given them my new address. But somehow they found it. Of course they did. On Friday morning, a white cargo van pulled up. The driver barely glanced at me. Sign here. What is it? They said you'd know. I signed. He drove off. Inside the crate, documents. Photos. A box of flash drives. And a keyring. One key I recognized instantly. B13. The storage unit. They left it for me. Like a final puzzle piece. I went that Saturday. Not because I expected redemption, but because I knew this family, they never left loose ends. And if they were leaving something behind, it meant they'd already tried to weaponize it first. I unlocked the unit. It was mostly empty, except for one cardboard box in the center. Dusty. Light. Labeled in my own childish handwriting. Stuff, 2007. I'd forgotten it existed. Inside, my old science fair project. A handmade comic book. A broken toy car missing its wheels. Birthday cards with crayon messages. Layers of innocence sealed in a time capsule. And at the very bottom, a black sheet of paper. Printed, not handwritten. Clean edges. Surgical. We took too much. We made you into a tool, not a son. But the truth? We never hated you. We envied your spine. We mocked what we couldn't bend. Jacob. Unexpected? Yes. Redemptive? Not even close. It wasn't an apology. It was a weak release of guilt, thrown like crumbs to keep me from burning the house down. No confrontation. No admission. Just a sad little, we knew, handed off like it absolved them of everything. I tore the note. Slowly. Strip by strip. Word by word. I wanted to feel it disintegrate. Then came the real ending. As I closed the unit, a man in a tailored suit stepped into the corridor. Neat haircut. Tablet in hand. Neutral expression. Michael Harris? Yes. He handed me a folder. Your parents submitted a loan application last week. Okay. They listed you as a co-signer. Old address. Real financial data. I'm sorry. What? It's being flagged. Several inconsistencies. We're required to ask, would you like to submit a fraud claim? I looked at the paperwork. Recognized the handwriting. The forged signature. What's the amount? $78,000. The deposit cleared. The rest is under review. You're legally listed on the application. Until we receive formal dispute documents, you are financially liable. I laughed. Short. Dry. Almost a cough. They weren't done. They never stop. What began as emotional blackmail had spiraled into criminal impersonation. They were still trying to get blood from the same vein, thinking I wouldn't notice until it was too late. That Monday, I filed a police report for identity theft and financial fraud. Sent them every email, every screenshot, every contract I never signed. A week later, they were summoned for questioning. A month after that, a detective called. We're opening a case. This is not minor. The bitter irony? They returned the key thinking it was a white flag. It was actually a breadcrumb trail. Proof of intent. A thread I could follow straight into their final trap. They thought they could bait me with nostalgia and slide a pin under my hand while I wasn't looking. They forgot who they were dealing with. I'm not guilty. Not guilty for being used. Not guilty for staying too long. Not guilty for loving the wrong people in the right way. But most of all, I'm done being a tool. On Wednesday, I replaced every lock at the office. On Thursday, I shut down every shared account they ever had access to. On Friday, I changed my phone number. For the last time, I kept one backup drive. Not out of fear, but out of principle. That same day, I was walking toward a meeting with my new business partner, a clean-cut woman who respected me without knowing a single thing about my family, when I passed a billboard I hadn't noticed in years. This time, I stopped. It read, "Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who doesn't bleed you dry." I stood there for a minute. Took a picture. Not for social media. Not for evidence. Just for me. Then I walked into that meeting, signed a new lease on a second office space, poured myself a cheap cup of burnt lobby coffee, and smiled. For the first time in my adult life. I didn't owe anyone a single thing.